Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. Lots of big news coming out tonight. Kind of scary, not knowing what's going on in WWE at this point. But when I saw the story posted for the first time about 8 o'clock, about an hour ago, honestly, I brushed it off as maybe it was just sort of a one of those, wrestling websites just reaching, trying to get a story out of something that really wasn't anything, just basically saying that John Cena might have been injured. And I read the story and I said, man, I've seen this story, at least, once a year, throughout the year, and nothing ever really happens about John Cena being injured. You've seen this, and everybody throws their hands in the air like, oh man, this is gonna be, whatever, man, like, what are they gonna do? But when I went to sit in my car here to drive home, and I wanted to load up the Wrestling Observer live show, I noticed that the main topic, or the main story that was on the page, was about the same story. Now, the first story said that basically John Cena was wrestling inside of the ring, and John Cena needed to get checked on by referees, and the officials were coming out of the back, and you could tell that really something was going on, because you not normally do so many referees or so many of the backstage, what do they call them now? They call them producers, or I don't know, I've always just called them agents, but these agents coming out of the back to try and see what's going on with Cena. They said that there was a problem with his nose, most likely playing off the fact of Seth Rollins breaking his nose, on the road to idiot, but on the road to SummerSlam. That guy screwed me all up, man. That guy was gonna hit me. I'm sitting here in the middle of a parking lot. How do you miss me? But basically, with the Wrestling Observer, they had a little bit more of a detailed report about what happened. With the Wrestling Observer, they always go out of their way before they post a story about an injury or a death or anything that sort of happens in wrestling. They have their backstage sources. They go to them and they say, did this happen? They get as much information as they can before they put something up there that's going to cause, hysteria throughout the wrestling world. But they said that basically Cena was wrestling in a match against Kevin Owens tonight on a house show. John Cena, tried to do a sunset flip. Actually, it was the infrared. John Cena is the only guy in the world that I know that's gotten older and, has already been, proven as to who he is in the wrestling business. But now he's going out of his way, like with the United States Open Challenge, wrestling on all the SmackDowns, wrestling on all the Monday Night Raws. Most of the time when guys are main eventers and they're trying to, extend their career a little bit, trying to make that last little bit of main event money, they tend to, make their wrestling style go down and work less. Only John Cena is a guy that is improving his moveset and working more. I can remember when John Cena was sort of like that special guy. He would wrestle on Monday Night Raw, but it was few and far in between, maybe once a month. Or maybe you saw him in a tag match, but this guy's going all out in singles matches, doing moves straight off the indies that, we've never seen this guy do before. And here he is hitting a move that was made famous by Amazing Red, by Rey Mysterio. He tries the sunset flip. He doesn't hit it right. He lands on his head. That would probably be where the problem with his neck is. We're going to have to see if maybe they can, just get him sort of massaged out, or if maybe this is going to be some sort of long-term problem, which is not good for WWE, because even though John Cena, since WrestleMania 31, has been moved down the card into the sort of mid-card status, even though he's a main eventer and they treat him that way, I think they're trying to get to that point where if John Cena's going to go make a movie, it's not life or death that he's on Monday Night Raw, but he is going to be the guy that's featured on the posters. He is going to be on the lunch boxes. He is going to be on the backpack, and there is going to come a day when he doesn't wrestle on every pay-per-view, and they start phasing him out, and they start going with your Dean Ambroses, your Seth Rollins, your Roman Reigns. You got Brock Lesnar around there most of the year, and we're moving into that next progression, that next era of the WWE, much like when Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, the Macho Man, when those guys were sort of moved out, and then you had your Bret Hart, you had your Shawn Michaels, you had your Undertakers, which then turned into bringing in Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, and it's just sort of, they roll things over, and even though, they might not be having the best times, they're working towards getting better, and that's what's going to happen. But Cena, definitely if he's injured, it screws up Night of Champions. Seth Rollins wouldn't be able to work double duty unless they're going to make another #1 contender, or they're going to move somebody up to go after the United States Championship. But at this point, you've already got, all of Seth Rollins' sort of rivals already paired up into matches. But the only person that you could do is maybe if you did a #1 contender match between Kevin Owens and Cesaro, and one of those guys would get pumped up into that slot, because you've already got Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, the former Shield members. They're going to be teaming up and going against the Wyatts. And that's sort of already what the basis of the feud between Cesaro and Kevin Owens is they're trying to figure out who is going to be the #1 contender. Because they were both, fighting to see who was going to be able to get the open challenge against John Cena, and that's what sort of led to their feud. So maybe that does make sense in the long run, but hopefully we can all sit here and think, hopefully nothing's wrong with John Cena, but we'll have to see and check the news in the morning and see where we go from here.